Hey there, focused learner, and welcome to this explainer on session 2 of Aligned with the Flow of God. Today, we are absolutely decoding the mechanics of personal frequency and emotional momentum. You know, if you've ever felt completely drained trying to uplift someone, or maybe found yourself spiraling after just one negative thought, well, you're in the exact right place. We're going to break down the actual mechanics of why this happens and, more importantly, how to take your power back.
Okay, let's dive right into this. So why does trying to help someone often leave you feeling completely exhausted? I mean, we've all been there, right? You have this massive personal breakthrough, you're excited, you want to share that positive energy with a friend or a family member, and instead of feeling inspired, they just argue with you. And by the end of the conversation, they haven't changed one bit, and you are left feeling completely depleted. Let's figure out why. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the savior trap, then frequency mechanics, and the negativity snowball. After that, we'll look at halting momentum, and finally, we'll open up the toolbox. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The Savior Trap. Why trying to change others leaks your energy.
So, the source material highlights a massive pitfall for anyone on a path of personal growth, and it's this desire to save people who simply aren't ready. This is literally the ultimate leak of your personal energy. Because here's the thing, forcing change on others creates instant resistance. It's like two opposing magnets. The harder you push your positive ideas or your well-meaning but unsolicited advice onto someone who's in a state of resistance, the harder they repel you. It's kind of like smashing a ping pong ball against a brick wall. It just bounces right back with equal force, hitting you with doubt, pushback, and total exhaustion. And this brilliantly illustrates the core issue. Pouring wisdom into someone who isn't ready is like pouring water into a cup with a hole. Think about it. You might have access to an infinite source of fresh water, or in this case, positive energy, wealth, and insights. But if the other person's cup has a giant hole in it, no matter how much you pour, they are never going to be satisfied, and you'll just end up draining your own precious reserves.
Moving on to Section 2. Frequency Mechanics. Understanding emotional wavelengths.
To understand exactly why the savior trap fails so spectacularly, imagine you're a radio tower, okay? You're broadcasting this beautiful, crystal clear signal on 126 FM. But the person you're trying to talk to, their internal dial is tuned to 120 AM. Honestly, it doesn't matter how loudly you speak, how logical your arguments are, or even how much you love them. They literally lack the receiver to decode your frequency.
We call this frequency misalignment. It's the phenomena where two entities operating on different emotional wavelengths simply cannot decode each other's signals. And the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that this misalignment is totally natural. It's not a flaw in you, and actually, scratch that, it's not a flaw in them either. The solution isn't to grab the radio and forcefully twist the dial. The true solution is to let your own continuous positive results do all the talking.
Instead of forcing that dial, adopt this mindset. Be the candle that lights up the dark room. Don't force a candle into someone's hands. By simply existing on a higher, more positive frequency, you naturally become a role model. You effortlessly illuminate the room. And those who are ready and seeking the light will naturally use your illumination to find their own way, without you ever having to convince them of a single thing.
All right, Section 3, the negativity snowball, how a single thought becomes an avalanche.
Now that we've covered external energy leaks, let's pivot and look internally for a minute. How exactly does a single, tiny little thought become a destructive avalanche? Well, it starts with the negativity bias. This is the psychological tendency for our human brains to focus on and remember negative experiences way more powerfully than positive ones. Evolutionarily speaking, our ancestors survived by hyper-focusing on threats in their environment. But today, this biological wiring means a negative thought gathers momentum incredibly fast. It is exactly like a snowball rolling down a steep, snow-covered mountain. Gravity and your own brain chemistry are working overtime to make it bigger.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the math of the bias. Imagine you post a photo or an idea online, right? You get 50 positive comments telling you how amazing it is, and just one negative comment insulting you. Which one keeps you up at night? The untrained brain will obsess over that single negative comment, completely ignoring the 50 positive ones, fueling that negativity bias into a massive emotional spiral. So here is exactly how that snowball effect works step by step. Step 1, a single negative thought drops in. Say your partner doesn't text you back immediately. Step 2, because of the negativity bias, your brain starts pulling up past negative memories to support this brand new fear. Step 3, this generates intense negative emotions and anxiety. And step 4, before you even know it, you're having these destructive reactions, like starting a massive argument the exact second they finally do text back. Boom, the avalanche is hit, and you created it.
Section 4. Halting momentum. Catching the spiral before it grows.
So how do we actually survive this avalanche? Well, the secret to emotional mastery isn't pretending you never have negative thoughts. That's impossible. It's catching the spiral before it grows out of control. And your most powerful tool for this is right in your chest. Your heart is an early detection sensor. The source material emphasizes that we need to become hypersensitive to this feeling. The exact second you feel a physical tightness, a slight drop, or just discomfort in your chest, you must recognize it as an alarm bell. A negative snowball has just started rolling, and you have a very brief window to stop it.
Section 5. The toolbox. Practical pattern interrupts.
Okay, once that alarm bell goes off, what do you actually do? You need practical, actionable pattern interrupts to stop the negative frequency dead in its tracks. We're talking things like sleep, fast-paced video games, intense exercise, changing your perspective, and gratitude. Now, you might be wondering why things like fast-paced video games or intense ping pong. Well, because they require split-second decisions and total physical presence. You literally cannot obsess over a bad text message when you're trying not to crash in Mario Kart. So the crucial point is that these activities act as emergency brakes. They are pattern interrupts that instantly halt the negative snowball.
Let's look at the timeline of recovery here. At 0 seconds, your heart detects the negativity. Within 10 seconds, you deploy your pattern interrupt. You jump into a game, or maybe you go for an intense run. Notice what happens next at the 30-minute mark. You don't immediately become joyful. First, your mind reaches a neutral state. The snowball is stopped. Only then, once you're at a baseline, can you initiate gratitude to spark and build positive momentum. You have to hit neutral before you can jump to positive. You can't just skip steps.
To wrap up everything we've decoded today, let's revisit this core insight. You cannot pour water into a cup with a hole, but you can be the candle that lights the room. Aligning with the flow of life isn't about controlling others or forcing them onto your frequency. It is purely about rigorously managing your own momentum, using your toolbox, and letting your consistent light naturally guide those who are ready for it. I want to leave you with a final thought to take with you. Where are you currently leaking your energy, and how will you protect your frequency today? Whether it's stepping out of the savior trap with a family member or using your toolbox to stop a negativity snowball at work, the mechanics are now entirely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and have fun applying these tools to your own life today.